All right, my friends, so today's the day. Today's the day. We're going to put the iPhone 13 Pro up against the iPhone 12 Pro versus the iPhone 11 Pro. And we're running three different benchmarks. So we're going to be running Geekbench, we're going to be running Antutu, and I believe it's 3D Mark to do some overall tests. And we'll see what kind of performance increase we get from the 11 to the 12 and the 12 to the 13 with all these. So stay tuned. All right, so the first thing before we get into the benchmarks at all, I get asked this question a lot, I think, in regards to should I upgrade? And you know what? If you're a person that likes to have the most cutting edge technology and you want the newest and greatest, then the simple answer is no matter what I say, you're going to want it. So go get it. Is it a better phone? Yeah, for sure it is. The cameras are better. It moves smoother. It runs faster. But the real question is, for the majority of people out there that have a 12 or an 11, what kind of increases are we going to get? Or is it something that we even notice? Looking at these three phones, 11 Pro, 12 Pro, 13 Pro, cosmetically all running iOS 15. And you know, if you look at just movability inside the apps, right? Except for the iPhone 13 Pro having that true motion, the 120 hertz, it's really, really hard to see a real need for you and I to switch. You know, just generic usability. The 11 Pro is still a fantastic phone. Now, if you were to go all the way back to the 10 series, let's say the 10, the 10S, the 10R, especially the 10R, performance-wise, still decent, even to this day. And we'll actually put possibly 10R specs up here, at least for Antutu and for the 3D Mark, I think it's called. I think that is. Because we tested, my daughter has a 10R, and we'll see that increase as well. Sadly, she didn't have Geekbench on her phone, so we couldn't test that. But you'll still get some ideas. The big difference, of course, from the 10R to any of the Pro series, even the non-Pro, if you went to just an 11 or a 12 or a 13, is that increase in camera. So you get better cameras, of course, and versus the 10R, you get either 2 cameras on the non-Pros and you go to 3 cameras on the Pros. So that could be a huge, huge increase. All right, let's start. And because I don't have the ability to really, I'm always going to start slowest first and kind of go ding, 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 so that you guys can kind of see this. So we'll start first with Geekbench. Okay, so Geekbench, bring that up. And you'll be able to see here, iPhone 11 Pro, iOS 15, iPhone 12 Pro, iOS 15. This one is, it's funny, iOS 14.2. So it hasn't been updated yet, I guess, to realize this is iPhone 13. But there's all your specs. The big difference too here with the iPhone 11, you'll see it only had 4 gigs of RAM versus the 6 in these two. So let's start. Let's do the compute scores. Ready? And boom, 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 boom. So they're off, and you and I will fast forward through all this part because as exciting as it is to watch, it's not. So we'll come back with the results. And you can even see here now, just kind of stepping back in, that even though this one was started last, it's the furthest in the testing than this one, Again, not huge, right? Running navigation, just came into running navigation and running navigation. So definitely we're speeding up as we come across, and that's to be expected. But the question is, what's that percentage increase? So back to the fast forward. All right, so about 1:50. This one gave us our score. This one here, we are at 1:56. And this one over here, we are at 2 minutes and more. I didn't even look. You guys saw it. You can go back. So let's see the performance increase. So you're looking at It seems like a fairly consistent increase. About, you're looking at 600 to 700 more to get to this one, about 600 to 700 more to get to this one. So let's just do a quick percentage, and I'll just do the math here. So here to here, you're looking at about 19.5% increase. So about just shy of a 20% increase. That's decent. Going from here to here, let's see what kind of increase we get. About a 9% increase. About a 9% increase, it looks like. And again, because the numbers are higher, that percentage decreases. Now in multi-core, what are we getting here? We're going, multi-core, you're getting 16.3%, okay, from here to here. And about a 17.6% score jump in this one. So decent numbers. We're always trying to look at 15 to 20%. Now that single core score there suffered a little bit, but definitely when you got to multi-core, we got up to close to that 20%. So that's an actual way better performance increase than I figured it would be. All right, let's close all those. So smooth, right? All of them, so smooth. All right, so let's go to Antutu. Yep, Antutu. Yep, allow, sure. It's just fun to say, really. Okay, so we're gonna do these tests again. Test again. Again, we went across this way, and we'll see again the difference in them. So you'll see them all load up here. Again, this was started first, this was started last. So we started with the 11, we end with the actual 13. And we'll fast forward this again, and we'll show you the results. All right, guys, so here it is. And I'm talking because these have all finished, including the virtual 10R, which you can see kind of over here a little bit, the 10R. Yeah, virtual, that's right, magic. So what we're gonna do is over here, we'll put the performance increases from the 10R to the 11 to the 12, the 12 to the 13. And to be completely honest, even though you see that there is, without any doubt, a performance increase, the real thing is, how evident is it when you're using them? And honestly, it's not. I think the biggest evidence for anyone that's using just general usage on the 13 Pro is that 120 hertz. It just gives it the appearance of running much smoother. Is it running a whole lot smoother? It is a little bit, but that 120 hertz really allows it to display that, which is where you're seeing and making it really look like it's a much faster phone. All right, so you've got the specs. We're gonna do one last test, and this is probably the biggest one for anybody that is, or looking at even like doing gaming, because we're gonna see some frames per second. So we're gonna go get 3D mark, yep. And we're also going to have the virtual 10R down here. We're going to do, I think it's a wildlife, and we'll do wildlife extreme stress test is the one we want. And I can't remember now if I actually did this on the 10R. So if you see the phone here on the 10R, cool. If you don't, then it's not what I did. Now you may notice this one's in white, but that's just because it's in light mode, not dark mode. So ready? Wildlife extreme, make sure it's the right ones. We're not doing unlimited. Okay, and start. Now this should give us, I think, like frames per second, which if you're into gaming and things like that, can be important, especially if you're buying a phone right now and want the best performance. Or again, if you're like, oh, my phone's a little choppy playing games, I'd like that extra performance. So here we go. really does look like the 12 and the 11 are fairly similar to each other, surprisingly. Until you get to some more complex animations, and then they kind of change. All right, so it looks like, yeah, see, this one definitely had the biggest jump. You're looking at 18.6 frames per second is what it averaged, its overall score. So its average frame, 18.6. Not bad. Of course, there's going to be some higher and then some lower to average it out. But the 12 Pro and the 11 Pro, just like I thought, 13.1 and 12.5, there's literally only 0.6 on average frames per second difference. That's not a lot. So if you have an 11 and we're considering going to a 12, that's probably not a huge difference. But these to this, you are increasing, you know, let's say 12 and a half to this is, again, it's not massive, but it's 3-4 frames per second. That's something, I would think. And that's on average, right? So frame rates went from 13 to 27, 9 to 17, and 9 to 16. So this had the biggest, it got close to 30 frames. This one only 17, this one only 16. So gives you an idea, right? And hopefully we had the 10R here as well to give you an idea what that one did. So the real question now is, does benchmarks matter? Well, they do to some, and it really does depend on, you know, what you're looking at doing with your phone. If you are looking at hammering this phone a lot with gaming and video, and you're actually using this to do encoding and anything like that, then more is always better. So the 13 Pro definitely would be one that I would look at, hands down. And that's outside of things like the camera and the cool 120 hertz screen, which is pretty awesome. 11 and 12 actually surprisingly comparable to each other. If you have either one of these, I think functionality wise, there's not a huge need in regards to performance. So right now, you know, all of these run everything really well. 11 and 12 still do surprisingly good. So again, I think it depends on you. If 80% of the people saw the 11 and the 13 side by side and they had a chance to play with them, they may think the 13 is faster because of the 120 hertz. But if you put it against the 13, which doesn't have the ProMotion and only has the 60 hertz, I think a lot of people would have a tough time actually saying, oh, that one's much faster than this one. Benchmarks kind of help prove that they are, but in day-to-day usage, you know, if you have an 11 and you're happy with it and you're thinking, it's $1,000, it's $1,000 to upgrade, then I'd be like, wait. If you're like, I have a 10 or 11, and you're like, no, I need the best, then the 13 is going to give you the best. It's going to give you the best. And if you have that $1,000, then it's a good investment. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you there. Benchmarks. There you go. Some benchmarks on the 11, 12, 13, and a little bit of the 10R. Let me know if you want any more testing done. We will be doing a photo and a video review video coming up. Hopefully soon. We're going to go out this weekend and take some photos and videos, different times of the day, et cetera, just to see how they perform. And we'll see you then. All right, guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you are alerted as to when these come out. And that's it for me today. Later, guys.